Am I the asshole? For rejection my niece's adoption request in front of people? My niece has lived with me since her parents went to prison 5 years ago. Drugs. My sister is getting out later this year. She has been working very hard in prison to improve herself and got her GED. We are still very close and we talk via an app the prison provides, and I take her daughter to visit her, along with her brother, who lives with his dad's brother, once a month. We were having a birthday dinner at my mother's for myself and my daughter, 16. Most of my family was there. For my present my niece decided to give me adoption request papers or whatever they are. I never ended up reading them. I was stunned and just shook my head. I was so shocked and confused. The plan was she was always supposed to go home. My mother was upset by this request as well as my other siblings, and my husband couldn't think of what to do either. She never brought this up in counseling or anything. I can't do that to my sister. I would not be able to take care of her without support financially from my grandma, who would stop supporting if I agreed. This was never even a thought. Now she and my daughter hate me, it seems. My son, 21, said it was probably something she got from TikTok and she will eventually get over it. My husband agrees with me. My siblings are staying out of it. My nephew isn't speaking to his sister now. It's a mess. Am I the asshole? Here? Trying to get an outside opinion. Reddit seems as good a place as any. ETA my sister has a home with lot rent paid and a job with my aunt waiting the minute she gets out, since this keeps coming up. Info you say your daughter is angry about it, too. Could it have been your daughter's idea and could she be influencing your niece? ETA/NAH for OP niece, certainly. Daughter could be TA if she pushed niece to have the conversation publicly rather than in private. Not the asshole. Yes, your immediate response could have been better, but you were in a state of shock and caught off guard, so I think it was understandable. Did your niece have help from an adult to get these adoption request papers? If so, was this person aware that she was always supposed to go back to her mom? If you haven't done so already, talking to both your niece and daughter separately about why you didn't agree to the request is probably in order. Not the asshole. There are a lot of feel-good videos about a child asking a relative, step-parent or guardian to adopt them and it all ends in tears and hugging, so being 14, it might have been something she saw on social media. And it seems your own 16-year-old daughter was in on it, too. Does she know the plan was for her to be reunited with her mom? I can understand being hesitant about it since it's been 5 years, but that could be done slowly in steps. Things like this should not be done in public unless the answer is a foregone conclusion. NAH, but I think you need to power through your shock here and really be there for her. She's scared, she wants stability. Her mom is coming back from prison and I doubt that household was a particularly great place for her before she was removed from it. You could have hugged her and thanked her for the thought you in fact still can. Your son is dismissing this as some TikTok thing, but you shouldn't. This request is coming from very real and important emotions. Poor kid. I assume she's afraid to go back to her mom. I'm sure she has terrible memories, and you are a safe haven. You were blindsided. Have a loving conversation with her. Reassure her it will be gradual. I hope that's true and that you will always be there for her. Tell her how much you love her. NAH, she's a kid who hasn't really seen her mom in 5 years. She wants stability and doesn't want to lose what she's gained in the past 5 years. Probably NAH. The niece is obviously terrified of returning to her mother when she gets out of prison. Get back into therapy with all the relevant parties yesterday. NAH, but this should have been handled far more delicately than it was. A quick hug, and I love you, and a let's discuss this more in private later should have been the reaction. Your niece is obviously going through a lot and wants a stable family. Info: is it her grandmother, your mother, or your grandmother offering financial support? Either way, why would you lose that if you agreed to adopt? Because they think she should be back with her mother? I get the sense you wouldn't agree to adopt even if the financial aspect wasn't a part of it, though. Based on replies, it sounds like you will still be nearby and very much a part of her life. Oh, I feel bad for the girl. She was 9 when she came there. That's a lot of time and probably the best time she has had. I'm sure she is scared to go back. Now I see where both sides are coming from. But I will say this. Your husband is dead wrong. She will not get over it without serious intervention. Now, bless that child's heart. Whatever her life was like with her mama, she'd rather stay with you than go back to it. Thing is, you couldn't adopt her anyway if your sister and her hubs don't give up their parental rights. And it sounds like family wouldn't let sis do that even if she wanted to. The child was wrong, of course, to blindside you. Talk with the child about the reality of what's going to happen. I've seen the TikTok videos with people being presented adoption papers or asking to be adopted. What your niece and daughter don't understand is those videos are staged. Those kids who get adopted by the family already know it's happening or it's been discussed for a long time, not spring up. I think this situation calls for family therapy ASAP before anyone else has hurt feelings. She is 14 and probably scared with her current stable life getting upturned this year and you were blindsided. I think the best thing at this point is some family counseling and individual counseling. Now, it's hard to think quickly in a situation like that. But maybe if you talk to your niece about adoption not being that cut and dried. Your sister would have to give up her parental rights and she probably won't do that. Make sure your niece knows you love her and will always be there for her, but adoption is more complicated than just asking someone to adopt you. I know because I recently wrote Warren Buffett and asked him to adopt me and he never replied. Your sister and the girl's father have to sign off on her anyway. Doubt your sister would do that now? Only because she's 14 and likely came at this with the best of intentions. But she asked you in front of everyone with no previous indication she wanted this and it was not wrong to be honest. I hope you're able to discuss it and reach peace in therapy. It might have been nicer to be gentler in how you turned her down, but honestly I don't blame you being shocked and just reacting. Your niece has seen you as her mother figure for 5 years. If she still has memories of life with her mother, they may not be pleasant. She may be terrified of reuniting with her birth parents and this should definitely be addressed with her therapist. You can't do this to your sister? What about what your sister did to her? She abandoned her. She told her that whatever she went to prison for was more important than her. That poor girl is looking to make sure she has a stable home life. Now she's stuck dealing with your jailbird sister who will never have a good job or be stable. Your niece will be on the same road as her? Your niece would be better off in foster care than with someone who will never prioritize her. She 100 is afraid of living with her mother again. I'm confused as to how she thought you could just adopt her. Did her parents have their rights severed by the courts? She's worried about going home. She finally has somewhere stable and doesn't have creeps around like her parents' drugged-up friends or dealers, etc., or dragged to see creeps. Maybe she's scared of what will happen to her and you don't really know what she's been through? You need to sit down and talk. You need to understand why she wants to be adopted and whether there are any factors that you don't know about. After this you can also share your side and tell her how you feel about this. Can you arrange to speak privately with your niece to clear the air? She obviously loves having a stable home. But you all need to get together and talk, including the mother, and keep everyone informed and work on the best solution for her. At that age she is able to decide who she wants to live with. Hopefully all parties agree and can work something, even a trial with her mom, weekends with you, or whatever works. Now, I'm hurting for your niece, but you can't be blamed for confusion at the moment.